She told me I'd embarrass her clients and asked me to stay home from the gala. I agreed. I agreed.
She didn't raise her voice when she said it. She didn't need to. Her words were sharp enough without the volume. "I can't bore my clients with you," she sneered, adjusting a pair of diamond earrings I'd never seen before. "This gala is important." I was just standing in the doorway, holding her coat, watching her reflection in the full-length mirror. She looked perfect. Polished, confident, and already somewhere else. A place where I clearly wasn't invited. "I got an invitation," I said, my voice calm even. She sighed, the kind of exaggerated sigh a manager gives an intern who just doesn't get it. "Everyone gets one. That doesn't mean everyone belongs there." There it was, clean, precise, dismissive, the final word. I nodded once, a small accepting motion. "All right, I'll stay home." A flicker of a smile played on her lips, satisfied. She took the coat from my hands without a second glance and walked out. The heavy front door clicked shut behind her. The house went quiet after her car pulled away. It wasn't a sad quiet, though. It was a clear quiet. A silence filled with possibilities. I walked upstairs to our bedroom, opened my side of the closet, and reached deep into the back. I pulled out the tuxedo she thought I'd never need again. The one I'd worn when I first made my name, long before she decided I was no longer interesting. She didn't know the gala wasn't hers. It never was. When I arrived at the venue, I didn't use the front entrance. I never did. True influence doesn't need to make a grand announcement. It waits patiently in the wings. The ballroom was a glittering sea of money and manufactured confidence. I watched people like my wife move through the crowd like predators, laughing just a little too loudly, touching arms, making promises they had no intention of keeping. She was already there, of course. Standing a little too close to a man she'd been mentioning far too often lately. A billionaire donor. Her favorite client, as she called him. She hadn't seen me yet. She was too absorbed in her performance. I took my seat at the head table, right beside the man who actually owned the night, the man whose foundation was hosting this entire event. When she finally did notice me, her smile froze mid-laugh. I watched the color drain from her face. She stared as if she were seeing a ghost. But then, just as quickly, she recalculated. The professional mask slipped back into place. The smile returned, fixed and rigid. She made her way toward our table, her heels clicking on the marble floor faster than usual. "What are you doing here?" she asked quietly, her teeth clenched behind that pleasant plow. "I was invited," I replied, equally quiet, "personally." The donor beside me, the host of the evening, let out a low chuckle. He turned to her. "Your husband has been advising me for years." Brilliant mind. A quiet guy, but that's a dangerous combination, isn't it? Her hand tightened around her designer clutch. I could see the knuckles turn white. She hadn't known. She'd never bothered to ask what I did, who I knew. She'd just assumed I was ... background noise. The speeches began shortly after. When my name was announced as a key advisor to the foundation, the entire room shifted. A subtle murmur went through the crowd. I stood, gave a single nod to the host, and sat back down, no speech needed. The point was made. From across the room, I watched her world tilt. It didn't collapse, not yet. It just tilted on its axis. The slow, dawning realization that the man she dismissed, the man she left at home, wasn't small. He was just patient. The next morning, she came home early. No expensive perfume. No air of victory. Just exhaustion. Her phone rang before she could even say a word. She answered, listened for a moment, her face growing paler by the second. She sank onto the edge of the sofa. Then she looked at me, her eyes wide with a dawning horror. "What did you do?" She whispered. "I did my job," I said, my voice steady. "The same one you told me was boring." The contracts vanished first. One by one, her biggest clients pulled out. Then the investigation started, quietly at first. Federal, unstoppable. She tried to frame it as revenge, telling anyone who would listen that I was a bitter, jealous husband. But it wasn't revenge. Revenge is emotional, messy. This was just documentation. I had watched her for years. I saw the emails she left open on her laptop. I overheard the calls she took carelessly, thinking I wasn't listening. I knew about the deals that were made too comfortably, too far outside the lines of legality. She assumed my invisibility meant ignorance. It never does. Silence is often just observation. When her company's board officially suspended her, she screamed. When the federal agent showed up at our door, she cried. And when the truth of her dealings became public knowledge, she begged. One day, during the fallout, she cornered me in the kitchen, her face streaked with tears. "You destroyed me," she said, her voice shaking with rage and despair. "No," I replied calmly, looking her straight in the eye. "You just stopped hiding." The divorce was clean, quick, and deeply unequal. I didn't attend another gala for a long time after that. I didn't need to. Some people need the applause, the spotlights, the public validation. Others just need the truth on the record. She once told me I would bore her clients to death. In the end, it was my silence, the years of quiet observation and careful documentation that buried her career. And I slept better every night knowing I never had to raise my voice to do it. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.